Before diving into this part, I highly recommend watching the previous parts of the story. If you haven't, simply click the card above and catch up. For those who have already watched, please continue on with me as I move deeper into the story. A link to the playlist can also be found in the video description. With that, let's move into the story. Previously, Roman was amused when Chris begged him to reveal his secrets of aura manifestation. As the scene changes, a man who conquered the blood demon sect under one command is shown. This man also begged Beak for the secret of his great power, the heavenly demon. The two men are now fighting for control of the demon sect. However, Beak easily defeats the man, causing him to fall to his knees. Roman recalls how the man did not hold back his shame and begged him to teach the secrets of his greater power. With this, Roman compares Chris to the man he defeated in the past. Roman, being a Chad, denies giving Chris any secrets, making Chris even more anxious. Roman tells him that the best advice he can offer is that the methods of training he followed were inefficient. Roasting him, Roman says that even his life choices were wrong. And if he wants to find a solution, Chris needs to focus on observing Roman Dimitri's actions and learn from them. Roman tells Chris to observe him in the battlefield in 6 months, and if Chris manages to focus on him for a decade, Roman assures him he will surely find an answer to his problem. Moving on, Chris sits dejected in his room, reflecting on the shame and harsh feedback he received from Roman Dimitri. He remembers how everyone praised him for sensing mana in just 6 months, and how the captain also praised him after he became a genius 1-star aura knight after only 3 years. But compared to Roman, who accomplished the same feat in mere seconds, Chris feels more traumatized. He recalls Roman's words that his training methods were inefficient, and how his lack of questioning them amused Roman. Remembering his defeat, Chris musters up his courage and decides to do as Roman said. Soon, Chris goes to Captain Jonathan's place and tells him that he will become a subordinate of Roman Dimitri, and follow him onto the battlefield to become even stronger. Captain Jonathan knows something must have happened between Chris and Roman, so he questions Chris about it. For a moment, both of them stare at each other intensely. Will they fall in love? Seeing Chris's determination and understanding that he must have thought it through before deciding to follow Roman onto the battlefield, Captain Jonathan allows him to leave the Dimitri Knights and follow him, only requesting that Chris protect Roman Dimitri at all costs while he achieves his goal. As Chris departs from his position as vice captain of the Dimitri Knights, Captain Jonathan remembers his past and sees a little boy crying hard over his dead mother, who was killed in the battlefield. Captain Jonathan, understanding Chris's capabilities and his sad past, thanks him for being willing to go with Roman Dimitri. He tells Chris that with his presence, Roman Dimitri can no longer be called a moron. The captain emphasizes that Chris needs to be well prepared for the battlefield. He tells Chris that in order to survive the chaos of the battlefield, he needs to have a secret weapon of his own making. Captain Jonathan encourages Chris to follow Roman Dimitri and learn from him, but also to develop his own unique skills and tactics to become an even stronger warrior. Chris thrives with excitement and happily agrees to follow his master. As the scene changes to a restaurant or a bar, where some people are still not complimenting Roman's brave achievements, calling him a half-assed idiot who couldn't defeat the vicious blood of fangs all by himself. They even blame the Dimitri Knights, accusing them of planning everything to make Roman Dimitri succeed. During this demeaning of Roman, Kevin hears it all and gets shocked that Roman defeated the Blood of Fangs all by himself, as he pleaded to Roman. Kevin remembers that Roman only defeated the goons from the Blood of Fangs with a single branch, and that he is fully capable of defeating them all by himself, because he believes in his young master Roman. Kevin asks himself if Roman Dimitri did all of this because he requested him to do so, keeping his word. But as Roman is a noble, why would he go that far for someone like him? Thinking this, Kevin praises Roman. Meanwhile, the owner of the shop shouts at him not to daydream and do his task immediately. Moving on, Kevin still can't let it go, thinking that he also wants to be stronger like Roman, and fight for his people like Roman Dimitri did, even being a noble. While he thinks about getting stronger like him, Kevin believes that if he can meet Roman once again, he can surely get some tips from him. As if his thoughts were heard, Kevin finally bumps into Roman Dimitri coming from the front. Seeing Roman Dimitri suddenly, Kevin can't believe his luck and drops the carton of potatoes on the ground. Excited Kevin, not knowing what to say, questions Roman about why he is there. When Kevin comes to his senses, he kneels down in front of Chad Roman Dimitri, showing him gratitude for saving his family from the vicious Blood of Fangs. Roman tells him that it's not important, what's important is Kevin's health and how he has been in the meantime. Kevin replies that the Blood of Fangs no longer threatens them, and with the help of his servant, Hans, he found a fitting job that allows him to feed his family. While Kevin shows his gratitude for Roman defeating the Blood of Fangs, Roman tells him that what's coming next will blow his mind. Roman wants to offer Kevin something that will ensure he never faces any financial difficulties again, giving him a comfortable home, nice food to eat, and he will be able to live a lavish lifestyle like rich kids do. Roman tells him that to live a better life and a lavish lifestyle, he needs to live for Roman and be loyal to him. Hearing this, Kevin bashes his head on the ground in front of Roman and pledges to serve him and live his whole life being loyal to him. Kevin pledges to Roman that he will die for him if Roman commands him to kill anyone. He will do so as per his command. Kevin tells Roman that as long as Roman protects his family from danger, he can control his life as per the needs. Roman sees that Kevin has shed his blood for pledging his life, which reminds the heavenly demon of a crazed stallion from his past life. Roman describes that the crazed stallion was a guy who would fight against hundreds solely on a single command of his master. Roman praises him for not giving up until he finishes the job his master gave him, which amazes them, naming him the crazed mare. Seeing the devotion of Chris and Kevin, Archad Roman is amused, thinking that it is worth investing his time on them. Further moving on, after taking Kevin to the palace with him, Roman tells his servant Hans to take good care of him and give him a tour of the castle, leaving Kevin in Hans's hands. Roman tells Kevin if he needs any help, he can visit him anytime in the library. Upon visiting the library, Roman starts learning about the Aura Knights from a book called The Path of an Aura Knight. As he reads, he finds out that in order to become an Aura Knight, one first needs to manifest aura, becoming a 1-star Aura Knight. To become a 2-star Aura Knight, one has to cut steel using aura power, and the intensity with which he cuts the steel will determine his rank. Once you reach the 3-star Aura Knight position, you will be treated as a higher command in the kingdom, just like Captain Jonathan. Roman further reads that there exists a 6-star Aura Knight in the Salamander Kingdom, but no one has ever heard of the existence of a 7-star Aura Knight. Even the top knights with aura power haven't reached the level of a 6-star Aura Knight. Roman compares the power level of Chris, a 2-star Aura Knight he fought, to that of Captain Jonathan, a 3-star Aura Knight, and concludes that they are only at the level of a second-class fighter. Roman wonders what the class of a 6-star Aura Knight might be, as it is known that achieving a 6-star rank as an Aura Knight means no longer being a normal human, but instead existing as a demonic figure. Roman learned about the immense power of a 6-star aura, which is so powerful that the flames from their blades flow over meters of distance, making an impact that a normal human is not capable of in this world. Roman reads that only 12 people in the world possess such immense power as to have achieved a rank of 6-star aura. These 12 individuals are considered on the level of royalty, regardless of their race or nationality. Due to their formidable powers, these rare 12 individuals with 6-star aura are famously known as the 12 Blades of the Continent. After gaining information about the aura and ranks of knights, Roman praises the 12 Blades as the strongest, as they have reached this legendary level even without efficiently utilizing Kai energy, which requires talent to do so. Roman also learns about magicians, similar to the Archmage in his past world. Archmages are warriors who have reached the 7th-circle rank in the demon sect. Roman describes them as half-man, half-god walking disasters who can strike fiercely. Their single strikes can level the earth and cloud the skies, and with their enormous numbers, archmages can easily overpower 6-star Aura Knights. Roman is curious about the concept of magic, which only exists in the present world and not in the world of Murim. As the story progresses, Roman's servant Hans takes him to a workshop that was previously used by the old Baron. Hans explains that the workshop is highly secure and even air cannot enter the place. Roman finds the workshop suitable for his training for the battlefield and instructs Hans to let him train there for the next week without any food or other supplies and to not let anyone enter the place. Roman makes it clear to Hans that if it is not extremely dangerous to his own people, no one should disturb him, or else Hans will be held responsible. Hans agrees to Roman Dimitri's command and leaves the workshop, allowing Roman to train in peace. Roman sits on the floor of the workshop and concentrates on harnessing his Kai energy. He reflects on how he has only been able to manifest a small amount of mana until now, but in order to use the powerful magic of his heavenly demon self as he did in the past world, he must start with the first step. Roman begins to enchant the first step of Heavenly Demon Magician and unleashes his power as a human. As he concentrates, he removes the impurities present within his mind and body. As he focuses his mana power throughout his entire body, Roman begins to bleed from his mouth, nose, and ears as he expels a large amount of impurities present in his body. Roman wants to regain all the strength he had as a heavenly demon in order to live his whole life in this present world and to protect his people. Roman explains that the first step, called human, is only the beginning of regaining the strength of a heavenly demon. As the week passed, the Dimitri family received a visit from King Viscount Lawrence and his daughter, Ms. Flora Lawrence, of the Lawrence Kingdom. The king asked a servant for Roman Dimitri's whereabouts, but the servant replied that Roman was occupied with important business. King Lawrence decided to wait for Roman's return while also apologizing to the Dimitri family for any mistakes made. The story then flashes back a few hours earlier in the Lawrence kingdom, where King Lawrence learned that Flora and Roman had ended their engagement without informing him. Flora, with her head down, explained to her father that during her last visit to the Dimitri family, she had ended her engagement with Roman and was unable to follow her father's orders. Even though she tried to force herself, Flora could not marry someone she did not love and respect. Upon hearing this, King Lawrence was filled with anger and shouted at Flora, unable to understand how his wise child could make such a decision. He exclaimed at Flora, asking how she could do this after knowing the current condition of the Lawrence kingdom, which was in danger of an upcoming attack from the Borco family that could cost them their territory. King Lawrence was scared as the Borco family was preparing for war and the Lawrence kingdom was in heavy danger. He knew the importance of having the Dimitris by their side as they were the only ones who could fight the Borco family, which is why Flora's marriage with Roman Dimitri was so important for their kingdom. Ms. Flora, on the other hand, tried to defend herself by saying that the Lawrence kingdom could not win by fighting on its own without the help of the Dimitri family. However, King Lawrence denied this, knowing that the Borco family was supported by the central government, which would lead to the Lawrence kingdom losing its territory to the Borcos. King Lawrence reflected on the fact that the central government approving the Borco family to take loans without any returns was suspicious, and this was not just a war between families, but nations would be involved on a large scale. King Lawrence, frustrated by his daughter, told her that the Borcos would take everything from them, their land, honor, and even the beautiful Ms. Flora, famously known as the Flower of Lawrence. After getting a long lecture from her father, Ms. Flora now calmly thought over the issue and tried to set aside her pride of being the Flower of Lawrence for the sake of her kingdom. On the other hand, Hans grew anxious as Roman Dimitri had not come out of the workshop, making King Lawrence and Ms. Flora wait from morning until sunset. While Hans was thinking of how to get Roman out of the workshop, suddenly the gate of the workshop opened. Hans was shocked by the restless expression on Roman's face, indicating that something had happened to him. The scene then shifts to King Lawrence, who has determined that his daughter, Flora Lawrence, must marry Roman Dimitri in order to save their kingdom from an impending danger. Despite feeling uneasy about forcing his daughter to marry without love, King Lawrence sees no other option. He grapples with the moral implications of this decision, feeling guilty for potentially causing his daughter harm. Determined to confront Baron Dimitri himself, King Lawrence storms into the room where he is working and berates him for making their guests wait so long. King Lawrence's frustration boils over as he shouts at Romero Dimitri, accusing him and his family of being cruel to their guests. He never imagined that the Dimitri family could have been so heartless. King Romero, hearing King Lawrence's complaint, asks if he had made an appointment to meet him. King Lawrence retorts that Baron Romero never responded to their request a week ago, leaving him with no other choice but to come without an appointment. Baron Romero, unfazed by the complaint, coldly asks King Lawrence if he had anything else to say. King Lawrence, disappointed by the Baron's attitude, explains that he had come to share his frustration over waiting for half a day. Baron Romero reveals that Roman had informed him of his decision to break the arranged marriage with Flora the day Flora visited them. Despite scolding Roman for behaving like a disobedient child, Baron Romero seems unbothered by the situation. King Romero further explains that seeing his son's determination to not go through with the marriage and follow his own path left him speechless and unable to question him further. Baron Romero berates King Lawrence, asserting that the Dimitri family are the ones who have been wronged by the dissolution of the marriage, not the Lawrence family. He accuses King Lawrence of being the ones to initiate the marriage arrangement in the first place, and expresses his anger at their audacity to come and shout at the king of the Dimitri family after breaking the arrangement themselves. He slams his hand on the table in frustration, demanding to know why they couldn't have just waited a little longer before coming to confront them. Baron Romero explains that the Dimitri family had no desire to meet with them in the first place, and that their shameless behavior after breaking the engagement only served to further infuriate him. He makes Flora and King Lawrence feel ashamed of their actions, and tells them that they should not speak any further complaints. King Romero Dimitri then reveals that the Borco family had also proposed marriage to them a month before, and if they had accepted the Borco's proposal instead of the Lawrence family, the Dimitri family would have gained a portion of the Lawrence territory and support from the central government. King Lawrence is taken aback and questions Romero Dimitri as to why he declined such a favorable offer from the Borco family. King Romero Dimitri explains to King Lawrence that the Dimitri family already had power and wealth, and therefore saw no need to accept the Borco's offer. He goes on to say that his personal liking of the Lawrence family was another reason for declining the offer. Baron Romero tells King Lawrence that despite Roman's feelings for Flora, the flower of the Lawrence family, they still decided to face the Borco family's anger in war rather than accepting their offer. After hearing this, King Lawrence feels guilty for his behavior and regrets shouting at King Dimitri out of anger. He acknowledges that as a king, he should have maintained his composure. Baron Romero Dimitri, disappointed with King Lawrence and Flora, tells them that even if Roman and Flora were not a good match, they should not have underestimated the powerful Dimitri family. When Roman added the Dimitri surname to his name, he became a respected prince in the eyes of all. As King Lawrence scolds her, Flora is reminded of her past, when she was a student at the academy. She came from a small, insignificant family, the Joels, who were looked down upon by the other, more powerful and wealthy royal families. One day, when a young Joel broke a vase at the academy, a punishment committee was formed to discipline him for his small mistake. Flora, watching from the sidelines, felt empathy for the poor kid as his mistake was not a significant one. King Lawrence realizes the mistake made by the Lawrence family and apologizes to Baron Romero Dimitri for their wrong decision. Flora also comes to realize her place in the world and that the weak must always bow to the stronger. She apologizes to King Romero for her actions. This moment is interrupted when Roman Dimitri enters the room, fresh from a one-week training session. He has undergone a significant transformation in appearance, with a new haircut and a more rugged, toned physique. Both Flora and her father King Lawrence are shocked by Roman's new look. Roman reveals to his father Baron Romero Dimitri that he understands the implications of the union between their two families and the potential consequences of the marriage. He tells his father that the Lawrence family only sees the Dimitri family as a means to an end, a way to secure their victory in the upcoming war against the Borco family. King Romero asks Roman if he still wants to pursue a relationship with Flora of the Lawrence family, despite his previous decision to break off the engagement. Roman tells his father that he doesn't care about what others might think of him as a fool of the Dimitri family. He just wants his potential partner to judge him based on her own personal opinion of him. He firmly tells his father not to interfere with his decision to end the engagement with Flora Lawrence and to let the broken engagement stay broken forever. That marks the end of this part of the recap of the series. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video to help us bring you the next part of this exciting series. If I get a great response on this part 4, I'll be bringing you the 5th part as well. Leave a comment with the word New Roman to let me know you're excited for part 5 of the series. Till then, take care, I'll see you next time.